Brought to you by Penguin.
Journal of a Novel by John Steinbeck. Read by Christopher Ragland. Publisher's Note. Emerson has said that when his writing was blocked, he would sit down and write a long letter to a friend whom he loved. John Steinbeck, in writing East of Eden, unblocked himself for the daily stint ahead by writing a letter to his close friend and editor, Pascal Covici. It was written on the blue-ruled pages of a large notebook, size 10 3/4 by 14 inches, which Covici had supplied. After the two opening letters, which filled the first few pages continuously, the letters appeared only on the left-hand pages. On the right, when Steinbeck felt ready, he proceeded to the text of the novel. He usually filled 2 pages of the text a day, with a total of about 1,500 words. Both the letter and the text were written in black pencil in Steinbeck's minute but clear longhand. The writing covered the period from January 29th through November 1st, 1951. There was a letter for every working day until the first draft of the novel was finished. The letter was primarily a method of warming up, flexing the author's muscles, both physical and mental. He sometimes used it to adumbrate the problems and purposes of the passage on which he was about to embark. A kind of arguing ground for the story, as he says once. If the argument had been worked out in his mind in advance, the material of the letter might consist of random thoughts, trial flights of wordsmanship, nuggets of information, and comment for his friend about the surrounding events of the moment, both personal and public. But the letters were also full of serious thinking about this novel, his longest and most ambitious, about novel writing in general, and about some of Steinbeck's deepest convictions. Not a formal act of literary creation for its own sake, this document casts a flood of light on the author's mind and on the nature of the creative process. And in its private glimpses of the Nobel Prize-winning writer, his concern about his sons, his hobbies such as woodcarving and carpentry, his passion for invention, it is autobiographical material of the first order. In a sense, this is Steinbeck's testament. Taken simply as a document, which he did not intend for publication and never revised in any way, it is probably unique. Its repetitions, even its seeming irrelevancies, are a part of its documentary interest. The text printed here follows the carefully typed transcription made from the original longhand by Mrs. Dorothy Covici for her husband, and no attempt has been made now to check it back word for word against the original longhand, a task for later scholars, except at a few points where she had been uncertain of the handwriting. It is published here intact as a reading version, without editing except in 2 minor respects. A few lines here and there have been omitted in deference to the feelings of living people, and a few inconsistencies in spelling, obvious slips of the pencil, and hasty punctuation have been corrected. Steinbeck was normally permissive with his editors on such points, though he strongly resisted what he called collaboration on more important matters. The letters, of course, refer to the first draft of East of Eden. After it was copied by a typist, Steinbeck made extensive revisions, omitted whole passages, and rearranged some of the chapters. The task of correlating the letters with the published text of the novel must also await future scholarship. Here, footnotes are supplied only in a few cases where references to the original text might be puzzling. The publishers are deeply indebted to Mrs. Elaine Steinbeck for her cooperation in elucidating references not clear in context and supplying identifications added in footnotes. They are also grateful to the Humanities Research Center of the University of Texas at Austin, the present owners, for permitting photographs of the original manuscript to be made for the sample facsimile pages.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?